Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders crashing a press conference Wednesday that was being led by Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. Watch this.
Are you going to ask him a question?
No.
Are you joining him for the question? I'm just curious.
Want to hear him out?
Do you want to tell us what you think about last night? You want to take the podium until he gets here?
Am I invited to take the podium?
I mean,
And there he goes. Sanders then went on to criticize the Democrats while also citing the New York City mayoral election as an example that leadership is out of touch. Watch this part.
Of course, there's an establishment. And of course, there's a division within the Democratic Party. There's no secret to anybody here. What are we seeing in Maine? What did you see in New York City? What are you going to see all over this country? You're going to see progressives running, protecting the needs of the working class, taking on big money interests, fighting for an agenda that works for all, not just the few. No great secret there.
Meanwhile, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries spoke with our own Brett Baer. When Brett asked him about the divide in the party, he responded with talking points, didn't answer the question. There was, another follow-up, basically, and Brett asked him, Maria, look, I mean, what is the goal of the party? There are many on the progressive left, including the Zohar Mamdamis of the world, the AOCs of the world, that are taking a new tactic. Real clear here, by the way, going back to Chuck Schumer here for a second. So when he was voting here in New York, he was asked if he voted for Zohar Mamdani, wouldn't answer, never endorsed him. Hakeem Jeffries didn't endorse Mamdani until October 24th. So I think the bigger story here is that the leadership knows that they've got a problem. They're seeing what happened here in New York. They're seeing the momentum that AOC, even Bernie Sanders, has when they go on these tours around the country. And they don't seem to know what to do with that. And they seem to understand that they've got a problem.
well, look, even Andrew Cuomo said many times when I've spoken with him in the last couple of weeks during this whole New York race that there's a civil war underway in the Democrat Party.
And it's largely generational. It's mostly young people who are viewing the world in a system that does not work for them and seems to work really well for the folks older than them who own their homes, who most of our entitlement spending goes to older folks. And they're seeing essentially socialism for the generations that came before them. But so they're thinking, why isn't there socialism for me? It's what one of my friends refers to colloquially as boomer luxury communism, and that kind of stuff. When you can't build anything, you are really tempted to tear it down, and that's exactly what Mamdani and AOC are offering.
Well, I mean, you look at some of these snippets on Instagram and on social media where you've got people stopping people and say, "Oh, you voted for Mamdani, why?" And they don't know why. Well, they have no idea.
They just want to tear stuff down.
And I'm thinking, like, wait, you're voting for him. You don't know his platform.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the younger generations have been raised in this participation trophy culture whereby they now expect free stuff. The issue is nothing is free. Somebody is paying for that because the government has no money. Money doesn't grow on trees. In regards to what Bernie Sanders was saying, I actually agree that progressives are probably going to carry this momentum into the midterms next year. And the reason for that is you won't see enough of the negative consequences of socialism by next November. So that's concerning. But at the end of the day, I mean, you look at New York City in particular, the top 1% of earners generate 48% of the tax revenue. The bottom 50%, many of whom probably voted for Mamdani, they generate only 0.2%. So once you kill the golden goose and the golden goose decides to spend 185 days a year in Florida, Texas, or Tennessee, where does the money come from?
And we have those graphics, right, guys? If we want to show the exodus out of New York already and where they went to, they're going to places like Florida, Texas, and all low-tax states.
Exactly.
And they are coming out of New York.
And the thing is, they don't have to leave New York altogether. They just have to spend more time somewhere else.
That's exactly right. All right, great stuff to talk about. Cheryl, thanks for that.